Hello, welcome to Coastal Crafts and another Halloween collab. They come around so quickly. So yeah, this is a collab hosted by Crafty Michelle. I'll put her details and the details of all the other crafters involved in this collab in the description box below, so go and check them all out. But I wanted to do some stamping this week because we know I love my stamps. And I do often get asked questions about things and the way that I do it and stuff like that. So I thought I would have a go. So I've got these cute stamps that are by Mama Elephant. So Plushaween. So little Halloween plushy characters. We know I like cute characters. And I've also been using a bit of these ones that I showed you in my last AliExpress haul, but I thought we'd just do a little bit of colouring and stamping together. So I've got my stamping tool. I do like this one for clear stamps. It's just a Hampton Arts one. Also got the Tim Holtz one, and I tend to use Memento ink for my stamping. I've now gone and covered everything up. We'll put a little bit of ink on this fella. So a good thing about these nice, good quality photopolymer stamps is they do stamp out beautifully, and you can really push down with force and it doesn't damage it. Where if you have the acrylic stamps, if you push down, they do smudge. So that is a definite benefit of having the better quality stamps. So I'll put him away. So we've got our cute little image, and then I need to get some pens to do a little bit of colouring. And we can probably zoom in a little bit as well. So he obviously needs a bit of a pumpkin to be done. So I've got a mixture of pens to use. So this one just being one of those, what they're called, first edition pens. I'm just going to give a bit of shadow to my pumpkin, and it's not going to be brilliant because I'm not very good at doing things on camera. I'm definitely more somebody for doing it off camera and then showing it, but I have been sort of challenging myself to try and do more on camera. There we go, him and his cute little pumpkin. I'm feeling like I've got a bit of a cold this week. Never any good. So I'm just going to use my Copics. What's this? Y17 golden yellow. And we'll just shade it in. So keeping it really nice and simple. What's his little pumpkin outfit? So it's a cute little teddy bear wearing a pumpkin. You know, what more do you need in life? And with the blender, you know, the more that you sort of rub it and go over it, it does tend to blend more. And I find that most alcohol markers, they do blend fairly nicely between brands and things. So I do mix up my brands. Copics definitely blend very well. So I think they just have a bit more alcohol in them, really. They're maybe weaker concentration. I don't know, they do blend very nicely. Oh, he needs a little bit on his hat as well, doesn't he? So we'll just add a little bit, oh, isn't it very neat? Add a little bit on there, and I'll try and cover up that bit where I've not done the best job. And then, of course, the little pumpkin, it will need a green bit, won't it, coming out the top. And then my little bear is going to need some colouring. So with these small critters, I just do a fairly similar attempt at crafting. So I've got that old TN4, the one that I said Spectrum Noir, that I over inked, but it's not too bad now. It's had a bit of time to recover. So I'm just gonna use that one, just add a bit of the shadowing and a bit of the detail. It's a fairly light colour, but I want him to be a fairly lightly coloured bear. So I'll just try and do it nice and quickly for the purposes of the video. Don't know whether he looks a bit, whether it's really showing up his pumpkin now, making him quite so brown. Not sure. And it doesn't matter too much if I go over the lines. partly because I'm doing a video and it's quite hard to do it whilst not looking properly, but also because I'm going to cut round it. I haven't got the dies to this, so instead I'm just going to cut around. This is the Copic E35, so we're going to do just shade him in. So just keep it nice and simple. I do need to get a re-inker for this one because I do like this colour, and it is definitely running out, as you can see by the sort of the patchiness of it. But I do use my browns. Critters, trees, you name it, they need brown, don't they? And then let's have a nice little pale colour. I know this one's got plenty of ink in it. Nice little pale colour for that one. What's that? E50. And then his little nose, just going to use one of my fine liners to go in. It will give him a slightly darker brown nose. And yeah, he's starting to come along. I will probably go over a little bit and try and fill in those gaps where it's not been done perfectly. And I'll just add a little black in as well for his pumpkin, and then I will come back and we'll have a look and see what we're up to next. So I like to use a pair of sewing scissors. I think these ones are embroidery scissors, and they're Fiskars. Is it Fiskars or Friskars? Can't think now. But they are that brand. And sewing scissors tend to be really sharp because obviously cutting fabric requires a far sharper blade than cutting paper. So if you want the sharpest scissors for fussy cutting, I do recommend little embroidery needlework scissors. They are the perfect way to go. And as I haven't got a die, I'm just cutting close to the line. So I'm going to keep going and come back once that's all cut out. So now a little teddy is cut out. I'm going to go around the outside to neaten it up using a black pen. I've got a whole range of black pens I use, but this one happens to be the Curacolor alcohol-based one. And all I do is go around the outside, and this just makes it look like you've cut it out more neatly than you have, getting rid of those white marks. So as you can see, just gonna go over all of them and go all the way around. So I'll be back once I've done that. So now, would it be a coastal crafts video if I didn't cover my little critters in gloss? So sometimes I use glossy accents, but this I find is a much cheaper alternative that works really well. It's the Anita's Clear Gloss and tends to go for under £2 in most places where I have seen it, and I just ladle it on because I love it, but obviously that's to your own discretion. And I started off, when I first sort of started doing paper crafts, I didn't have all these different crafty tools and liquids and things, but I happened to have a pot of Poundland yacht varnish, and I used to put varnish on tops of my critters because I just love the shiny effect, and that does actually work surprisingly well. It can, you know, sometimes some of these varnishes can discolor it slightly, but yeah, it looked good, but obviously it stank a bit. So as soon as I discovered glossy accents, how much easier that was, I realized that was the way to go. So here's my little gritter. He's gonna go off to dry, and then we will look at getting all the little critters out and putting our cards together. So now the glossy accents are dry, and I've had a bit of time to prepare all the other bits. So I just need to stick my little fella onto the card base, but I've actually decided to put him onto a tag this time rather than a card. So with a cute little saying Pumpkin Day, and some pumpkin die cuts. So we'll just peel off. I've stuck some of the black foam tape that I picked up in Hobbycraft onto the back of him. We'll just peel off the backing, which likes to stick to my fingers, and stick our little critter on to our tag. So there you go, little fella. And he's happily sitting with all his pumpkins. So I've had a bit of a play with lots of other critters as well. So we've got more from that set. These ones are too cute to spook. And so I've just coloured those in the same way and added some more glossy accents. And I've used this lovely paper from Tailored Expressions in the background, which I think goes perfectly. So that's my kind of orange base card. And then over here, using some of those stamps I picked up in a recent haul. The Boo Crew. they are, with their little spider web in the background. So that's my purple card. So there we go. We have a range of spooky Halloween cards and a tag and a bit of colouring. So I hope you enjoyed my efforts for today's collab, and do check out all the other things that people have been making, so I'm sure they are always amazing. And yeah, let me know what you think and which one you like the best, and I'll speak to you very soon. Bye.